My field was professor of English literature. I hated my job, and the bartending world and the history of drinks was much more interesting and much more fun, with much more fun people to deal with. So I went for that. I started to write Imbibe really in 2003. I did a tribute to Jerry Thomas at the Plaza Hotel in New York in their old bar, with all the top mixologists that I could find. And to do that, I had to research his life, and I thought maybe I should make a book out of this. And then that took 4 years. Oh, there are a number of little tiny things that I found that now I love to see people doing and using. One of my favorites was doing research on what gin was in Jerry Thomas's day, because his book from 1862 just says gin cocktail, use gin. And I always used to make those drinks with modern dry gin, like we always use for all of our other drinks, and they were terrible. And so I went back and I looked and I realized that the reason they were terrible is Jerry Thomas wasn't using dry gin, he was using Geneva, Dutch style gin, because New York City in particular used to be a Dutch colony, and the tradition in America was Dutch style gin, not English style gin. And you make the drinks with that Dutch style gin and they're delicious. So you have to trust that people knew what they were doing back then. You just have to figure out what exactly the words mean.
You have some interesting short fact about bitter, say like Italian bitter in the U.S.
Well, the interesting thing I think is Italian vermouth came in and changed the way Americans made drinks. Without Italian vermouth, we wouldn't have had the Manhattan and the Martini, and that showed the way forward to mix so many of the modern drinks. And then we started even as early as 1900, drinking things like Campari was coming into the country, and some of the other Italian bitters. And American bartenders were open-minded enough to use these in their drinks and send them back abroad again. We had the Americano, was originally vermouth, al stilo Americano, the American style with bitters in it. It became a drink that Campari dominated by sheer commercial skill, and having such a beautiful red color, I think, had something to do with it too, because it's a beautiful drink. But that was really just the American way of treating vermouth, is we're going to put bitters in this because it makes a cocktail then.
Yeah, really interesting.
There was a whole community of Americans in Paris in the 1920s, and looking through the papers and documents and bar books that they left behind, you see about the most popular drink there was equal parts Campari, vermouth, and American whiskey. It was called the Old Pal or the Boulevardier, and it seems like that was what the American community, their special thing, because there are also all kinds of other drinks involving Campari, vermouth, and other spirits. 5 or 6 different recipes all coming out of that group of people. So it seems like that was what they were passing around. They'd come to Paris and that was their sophisticated drink at the American bars in Paris. So I think that's very cool.
Really interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
American drinking Campari in France.
In France.
Very interesting. Yeah.
It's the global economy of 1922. I think always the place to start is with the simple drinks, and learn to, if you're a bartender, learn to master them. Not just make them a few times, make them over and over until you know everything about that drink, even if it only has 3 or 4 ingredients. And from the other side of the bar, learn those drinks also. Learn how to appreciate a proper daiquiri, a very simple drink, 3 ingredients. Learn how to appreciate something like a Negroni, another very simple drink. Learn how it tastes with different gins, with different vermouths. Learn how it evolves. learn how it tastes with soda, without soda, with ice in the glass, strained, just all the different ways, and then you'll see where your taste is eventually. And once you know exactly what you like, that makes it much easier for you to go into a bar and order a drink, and it makes it easier for the bartender too, because they know you can tell them what you want. It's not something like you go into a bar and say, I don't know, just make me something. That's not good for bartenders.
No.
The Negroni in America is growing like mad. It was the hottest drink of the summer, which is funny for a drink 100 years old. Everybody's making Negronis. They're making them now, but also in America, we're making them with mezcal. They're making them with all the trendy new things, but they're still making them, and it's fun to see. Personally, I've been drinking Negronis since I was a teenager. My favorite Negroni is equal parts gin, Campari, vermouth, straight up in a cocktail glass. Un gran saluto ai miei amici e amatori di Campari in tutto il mondo, dal Campari Academy, David Wondrich. Ciao.
Ciao.